Hey everybody, what's up? It's Tipping the Scales. I'm your girl, Shea Dawson.
And it's Tyneeha Rivers, aka T. Welcome back.
Welcome back. I love coming back. I just love being here. And I love being here with you.
I love being here with you as well.
Yay. So what do we got today? It's just you and I. No guests today.
I love it when it's you and I sometimes. I love our guests, but anytime we get to have really good conversations together, it makes me really happy. So
I agree. It's almost like therapy. We're not licensed, but when we talk to each other, I do feel lighter when I walk away from the conversation. And we got some tools in our toolbox, that we can use to help each other out. So
good. And listen, I think in terms of being heavy, I think I have a feeling in my gut that today is going to be one of those heavier episodes where it really requires us to be very authentic, but just requires us to open up a little bit more than we had to in the past. So I'm a little bit nervous, but excited.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. I was trying to get my mind together ever since I knew what we were going to talk about today. I was just trying to figure out how to get to a deeper place. Yeah. And, as the moment comes closer when it's time to record, I still don't have it all together. And I'm like, what am I going to say? I hope I say something meaningful. I hope I say something impactful. And sometimes when you get in conversation, that's all you need is someone else to pull it out of you. So I was like, let me just let go and let God. And we push record and it's gonna be all good. So
it's gonna happen. Yeah. And I think too, one of the good things is we're always there to support each other. So even when we get to a really tough spot, I always know that you got my back, and I hope you know that I have yours. So we got this, boo. We're good.
We got this, boo. I love when you say that. We got this, boo. Or we got you, boo. You actually had my back yesterday. So I appreciate that. I always appreciate it. I feel safe when I have to tell you some news where we have to move things around, but I'm like, ugh.
I know you always feel so bad, but we always work it out. So
right.
All right. So today's episode is about really discovering who you are, but yet to live your best life. So we are titling this The Year of You. So let that resonate for a second. The Year of You.
Year of You.
Yeah. So when you hear that, though, what does that mean when you hear the Year of You?
So it's crazy because I had a year of yes, which is essentially my year of you.
I like that.
When things in my life, in my career started to take off. When I set my intentions to really focus on myself and stop blocking my blessings. So when I think of the year of you, I think about making decisions for your future self. Like you're not where you want to be at that moment, but you're starting to plant the seeds. You're starting to build that foundation to get to where you really want to get to in life. And my year of yes happened in 2015. And I've been going ever since. So I'm super excited to kind of dig deep on what that means for you as well.
Yeah.
And kind of jog, some memories of when I went through my year of yes and my year of me. So,
well, it's too funny. Like we always have so many commonalities. And it's funny that 2015 was a year for you, your year of yes. I have 2015, and I want to talk about it in a minute. It meant a lot for me. And it really was a time that I feel like I was at a low place in my life, but it was a real pivotal year for me. So I'm really happy to talk about that because I think it will help some others who may have struggled with similar things that I had going on in my life at the time.
Yeah, dang. I mean, and sometimes, I don't know, I see you, I talk to you. I don't even know if you're capable of having those dark moments.
Oh my gosh, it was really bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was at the Sixers at the time too, because there was so many different things. And you, I guess you didn't know.
I didn't know.
But it was definitely, I would say, one of the hardest years I've ever had because I just had so many not so great things happening in my life that I had to really overcome. But it's those things that you endure that makes you stronger and makes you better. And, all of us are survivors at some point in time in our lives. And I think it's those journeys that puts us on the path to success for sure.
Yeah, no, so that's crazy that you say that. In 2015, I wasn't in a low point. I was in a fed up point, a fed up point of like people not taking me seriously.
Yeah.
I was dating the wrong people. I kept getting hurt, over and over and
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
I allowed other people to put their insecurities onto me
Sure.
because I'm a natural nurturer. I'm a natural, want to save everybody.
Me
And
too.
yeah. And so I was like, that's it. No more. Like, I am just going to do Shea. My friend said something funny today. Shout out to Morgan. She said,
Hey, Morgan.
she said, it's not fuck you. It's just do me. And I think that's what 2015 was about for me.
Yeah.
And I started to say yes to everything. Like, if you invited me to a party, if you invited me to a cookout, if you invited me to another state and I felt like I didn't have the money, I was going to find the money and
find the way.
Find the way. And when I started to do that, I literally kept meeting people who introduced me to another person, who introduced me to another person, who essentially introduced me to my next job or my next blessing or my next win, and eventually the love of my life. So I just started to say yes. And I started to just put myself out there and stop making excuses. And that's really what put me on the path kind of to where I am now. And I can kind of still see things happening where it's not something that I planned, but it came at the right time, at the right moment. And that's kind of what I'm noticing now is going through that. So,
yeah. Well, when I hear the words year of yes, or even the year of you, I think about what are the things that we need to do in our lives to get to a place where it's overall just satisfaction. And although it sounds so simplistic in nature, I think there's so many different things that we need to do that I want to talk about today, from personal relationships, family, love, health, career. You're balancing all these things out. And in every aspect of our lives, we need to make sure that we are putting ourselves first in order for us to really propel and get to where we need to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that we can kind of talk a little bit about each of those topics today.
Yeah. I mean, like Issa Rae said, she said, it's a me season. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think everybody needs to get in that mindset in 2022 coming out of this pandemic. It needs to be a you season.
Yeah.
You can't be worried about what other people are going through. Although you empathize with them, you want to be there for them, you check up on them.
Be supportive for sure.
Be supportive. Yeah. But this is the time to really be not selfish, but self first, right? What do you need in order to be your best self coming out of a lockdown, coming out of a global pandemic? A lot of bad things have happened in our world. A lot of things have bad happened to the people around us and the people we care about and we love. But
absolutely,
you can't pour from an empty cup.
That's right. You can't.
So that's what today's episode is about, is filling up your cup. And I've been posting a lot on Instagram on my Overtime Shea account. A lot of things that I've been feeling. And not necessarily just me. I think it's just coming up through me, kind of what I'm feeling other people going through.
Absolutely.
And so it's been resonating with so many people. Today I posted, I love when people think you're nobody and you turn around and be the GOAT, And it's like a lot of people counting you out. A lot of people, because if you don't tell everybody what you're always doing, you don't brag about yourself all the time, or, and people don't think that you add value. And the next thing you know, they realize that somebody that they actually idolize, or somebody that they hold, they get this great respect title to. And next thing you know, you're that person. You're that person's person. So, and it's like one of those things where it's like, I'm starting to own those things about myself. It's like, damn, like, I am kind of lit. Like, I do know a lot of people. Like, I have sown good seeds my whole life. And I am seeing the benefits of it these days. And I do want people to put respect on that,
Now it's time to reap those benefits. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think too, as we look ahead to 2022, think about the things that you and each and every one of us need to do to get to that point where we feel like that we've either met our goal or we're on track to meet our goal. Like, we have to really come with a plan in order
Yeah.
to kind of meet our goals in those individual areas. But look, I want to tell you a little bit about what happened and where I was at, back in 2015, because I think that is what really, I would say, was an eye-opening experience that is something that I'll never forget. So back in 2015, I felt like there was just so much going on in my life. Like my son went away to school, and everything that I was doing in my life was to set up my son for success. That all my personal time was always, there was no personal time, but it was all about like driving him to whatever events. And he had AAU games in the summer. He had just so much stuff going on that any free time outside of work was all about him. So I had my son going off in college. Our dog, Mickey, who I miss, had just died. I mean, it was crazy. I do miss Mickey. And then in addition to that, I was in a relationship with someone for 10 years. And I walked in and saw this person with someone else. So for me, that was just very, and we had just was going through counseling to try to get to a good place. And for all that to happen was just, it was really sad for me. Yeah.
And did you feel, so let's talk about how you felt when you saw that person with someone else.
Yeah.
It's that physical pain. Did you feel it right away? Did you feel it in your gut? Like that kind of heartbreak makes you sick. Like, did you describe that feeling? Like, I just think that we don't talk about that enough.
Well, there's so many levels in terms of emotions and the things that you experience when something like that happens. I think, first of all, I felt anger. Like I wanted to kick his ass, to be quite honest. And also I was mad at this person, this girl that he was with, because this was someone who was made out to be his cousin. So I believed. So
I had that happen to me too.
So here I am thinking that, this is this person that was your cousin's wife that was brought to me at the time. So just to walk in on them, see her sitting on his bed, and it was made to believe that this was someone's cousin. So so my very first reaction was just anger. I was upset. And I think once I calmed down, I left, I was like very disappointed. But you do feel like, I don't think the sickness part happened between a couple of days later when I just felt, because I think at first it was just, I can't believe it. It was on Thanksgiving. Okay.
It
was like, it was one of those days where the weather was, it was like a snowy, crazy Thanksgiving we had. It was a lot of snow. I remember the snow being on the ground. And I was just dropping off my niece because I had a crazy day. And I just was dropping off my niece home. And when I got to his house, I just wanted to just tell him about how my day was crazy and, when he left. So I had so much to really talk about. So for me to walk in and see that was just, wow. It's
crazy because I had the same thing happen to me. And
really?
and it's funny how you can remember the snow falling on that day. Like,
I remember every single thing about that day.
So do I. So I was dating a guy, and he had a friend, said it was his best friend or whatever, really close friend, but it wasn't someone I felt threatened by. Like I didn't feel threatened by their energy or anything.
Yeah.
And one day he left his phone at the house by accident. And I didn't think to check it or anything like that. Like I wasn't tripping. But the message went off, and I looked, and when I read what it said, I instantly wanted to throw up. Like it was an explicit message.
Oh, wow.
And I remember everything about, I could literally close my eyes right now and paint a picture where I was, how I felt. And the reason why I say the sickness is like, I immediately felt like tingling in my toes. The sensation went all the way through my legs.
All those emotions.
Into my gut.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say but I didn't feel like I wanted to die. I don't think I was like madly in love with this person.
Yeah.
But I trusted them,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like your trust has been broken.
Them. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I knew I knew the girl. Like I'd been around her like, bestie. Like, and I think that was the really like dirty part was like, wait, like, so y'all was playing me the whole time? Like, I know I'm not that horrible of a person for someone to like literally plot and plan around me. So I can only imagine how you felt.
Yeah. I felt portrayed.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe, because even like we had issues in the past, and it was a reason why we weren't married, and I kept putting it off. And, you know, because I just felt like I could not, there was something missing from our relationship. So we had just, because we got to a point where I said, this either has to get better. We've been together for so long, or we need to move apart, like, and make it official, like just not continue on this crazy path that we were on. And I just signed us up for counseling. Like, we were going to see, this was like our last hurrah to seeing if we can make it work. But I guess he had some other things going on.
So, okay. So, and it's crazy because one of the things I really want to do in life that hasn't come full circle yet, I want to open like a healing studio. Like when you do have heartbreak, it's not easy to get over it by yourself. You kind of need to go somewhere. Like we got a gym, you know, you can go to a gym, you know, you can hang out with friends, you can drink, you can do all this other stuff, but there's not like an actual place you can go.
I agree. And you know what else? Shea, I felt like no one understood.
Yeah.
Like my family knew, and they would call me like, oh, forget him, move on. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, actually, and you're like, it is a big deal. Yeah. I mean, you spend 10 years of your life with someone. And even if it did not work out because for whatever reason, we weren't meant for each other's future, at the end of the day, you portrayed me with someone that you said was your cousin. And this whole time, I'm believing this person is someone and they're not.
Yeah.
So that just almost like a surprise effect.
Yeah.
And like I said, because that year was so tough, as a year without my son, and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I had a friend, and she said to me, just casual conversation, she said, and I laugh at it now, but it was pretty sad when it happened. It was a simple question. It was, what do you like to do for fun? And you know, I had no idea, because fun to me was like going to the house. I did not know. So that was a really aha moment for me, is I said, never again. Like, I'm going to start.
So stay right there.
Yeah.
Stay right there. Someone asked you, your friend asked you, what do you like to do for fun? And you couldn't tell her.
I couldn't even tell her. Yeah.
And now I see you now, and that's completely different. So how did you take care of you in that moment? How did you start to climb out of those feelings, that rut that you were in at that moment? Like, how did you start to just put one foot in front of the other? Like, talk me through through that. So
I think, first of all, when all these things were happening at the same time, I felt like I was depressed. Like, I just felt heavy. I felt like starting the day took so much of my energy. Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was starting a new job. I was really excited about my new job. I was working in sports. I thought it was something like my dream. I think we all say, we think at the time it's our dream job. And I tried to really focus on that, but I was heartbroken, 100%. And I contemplated talking about this, because I never do. I don't think I mentioned it outside of family members, you know, back when that happened a while ago. I don't talk about it. But I felt like our last episode where Raven, shout out to Raven.
Shout out to Raven.
Because Raven said, T, you need to be vulnerable. But Raven said, T, you need to be vulnerable. And she asked if I was. And I don't think that I think I wasn't completely. And I think that's part of me that I have to peel back the onion and really start focusing on just being vulnerable in order to move forward.
So Raven helped you.
She did.
I love that. It's crazy because my friend Latifah, shout out to Latifah, who listens to our podcast every time it drops. She basically said, man, Raven is deep. And she was like, she literally connected with that episode. And so I think it's so great to kind of, we had a guest on our show who connected with us in a way that we didn't expect her to do. And now it's reflecting, you know, you're reflecting on that and your year of you. And like, you're starting to see like, well, maybe I wasn't so vulnerable back then.
Yeah.
And maybe I should start doing that going forward. Yeah. If I want to see some things change.
Yeah. But back to your question in terms of like, so what were the steps? Yeah. I literally said to myself, this sad ass girl, she's done. I started to think about the things that even if I haven't done, I just tried a lot of different things to see where I would land.
Yeah.
So I started, that's when I started hiking. I had one of my girlfriends, I went on a hike with her and I loved it. I loved being outdoors. I loved, climbing the mountains. It was just a great experience. And I found something I liked and continued to do. And I just tried a lot of different things. And there was some things I tried that I hated too. But it was a place for me that I had to experience many different things to really figure out the things that I love that I should continue to do.
Yeah. And it reminds me when we talk about year of you or year of yes, people got to realize that sometimes pain comes into your life because it has to catapult you have to be able to refuel those feelings to help you get to somewhere else, like a breakthrough. Yeah. Like a lot of my friends that I know who either working out and who have really great bodies right now, or like you said, hiking, or have made some drastic change in their life where they needed to like shed this old skin and grow a new skin. It's when something tragic has happened. Yeah. So anybody out there going through something, like you going through something, you have to understand that better is going to come out of it.
For sure.
But you got to sit in that feeling. You got to understand, you got to take the lesson, right? T, you had signs of this person. You were going through counseling,
for
right?
Sure.
For sure had signs.
Trust your gut. That intuition will never lie to you.
Never lie to you. And once you start getting familiar with those feelings, like stop trying to protect yourself.
Or make excuses.
Or make excuses.
That's right.
And start saying, I recognize this. I know this feeling. And now I got to get ready to come out through the other side. Like I got to be ready. I got to put my gloves on and I really have to be ready. Like,
and have a plan.
But you got to know those feelings and you have to learn from them and say, okay, I'm ready. Put my gloves on. I know, I know what this is. And be, like you said, and have a plan to be ready to take yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Like there's this song, this girl named Sweetie Keaty, I think that's her name on Instagram. She said, I know that this ain't what you're used to. You see, my Lord, my God, he uses who he want to. It just might be your season, baby. Let him use you. Don't you compare yourself to no one because he called you. Nah. Ephesians 3:20, exceedingly plenty. You got that power inside you. You're winning. This life that you live in ain't ordinary. If the Lord's inside you, it's extraordinary. He paid the price. He loves me in spite. Going in cycles, no more like a bike, more like a jet, cause I'm about to take flight. Headed for greatness with God by my side. Grateful, so thankful that you changed my life. Had to gear up cause it's my time to fight. Got that armor of God, so don't try it, all right. Helmet on right, got that breastplate on tight. He is a rock, I'm like David on side.
I love it.
So it was like
I love it.
So I used that song. I played it every
find out you
morning.
Little
I
singing
got a little harmony.
I got a little something.
But like when you're going through these hard times and you're trying to find who you are, you have to try and draw inspiration from all these places. And there's a lot of people out there who are trying to inspire you, but you got to be open to it, right? Yeah. So like drawing inspiration, doing the deep work. And we're going back to deep work, but like you clearly had to do some deep work to get out of it.
Absolutely.
Because look at where you are right now. Look at where we are right now.
Yeah. And look, we talk about it all the time in terms of no challenge, no change. And those things that really shake us up, it's just part of our journey, right? And it's something that we push past, but it almost is like you lose a layer to get a better layer of skin, a more thicker layer. And it just, I'm serious. Like, it's like you're a caterpillar. You are shedding away all the stuff that you don't need so that you can get your wings and fly. I mean, I'm really serious about it. And I just know that year that I felt that took everything from me, that, I just felt not worthy. And for those of you who may have felt that way, that you're not worthy, don't ever allow yourself to sit and resonate in that. Like, you are worthy. And just because someone else may not have appreciated your worth, you can best believe someone else will. And if that person isn't meant for your future, that's okay, because there's someone else who will be, and you will get past it. So I think we all have to get to a place where we're very much supportive of one another, but knowing that let's get through the mud, and once we get out of it, we don't have to continuously look back, but we know that it was a place that we were, and we're done. We're out of it.
Man, it's crazy. You keep hitting all the things that I was thinking this week. Like, I also posted something that said, I'm not negotiating my value with anyone.
I know that's right.
I'm worth it, been worth it, and will always be worth it. And like, once you start building up those layers of skin, it's like people can't penetrate it anymore because your skin is too thick. You know what I mean? Like, it just falls right off. Like,
like, bye.
That ain't nothing.
Bye, boy.
Bye. It's almost like, it's like that muscle memory that you get. Like, boy, bye. I'm so used to this. Like, you don't even get phased anymore. And I think I'm at that place in life where, okay, when challenges arise or when people try to play me, I'm like, all right, it's cool. And I'm not getting even. I'm gonna just do me.
Exactly.
You do you, and God will go handle that situation. So go ahead. You chose what you chose, and I'm gonna choose me, and I'm gonna choose
I have somebody else
the
help me fight
path.
my battles. That's
Amen.
right.
Yeah.
But look, one of the things that I don't know when I met this new Shea, but because pandemic changed so many things, and it's not like we had a chance to see each other.
Yeah.
But when we finally got together I think it was to film our first episode, right? You just walked in with so much confidence, and it wasn't like you weren't a confident person ever before, because you've always been confident, but you just had this presence about yourself that you came in and you just walked in. I said, Shawty, what's up with you? But what brought you to that place? Because I mean it, like, you just exuded so much confidence in yourself. And we never even talked about it, but you walked in, and I will never forget when you walked through those doors. So where did it come from? Like, what had happened over the years since that's a few years since we've seen each other.
I mean, that's such a great question. And thank you for noticing. And my friend actually hit me today.
Boom! Guess who walked in the room?
My friend said the same thing today. She called me like, yo, I don't know what you're going through, but like, you are radiating. I'm like,
yes, for sure.
I've never reflected on this exact moment.
Yeah.
But I think I was tired of being sick and tired. I think I was tired of people undervaluing me.
Yeah.
Telling me what I needed to be when I knew in my soul and my heart that I was living right and I was doing right.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do too with leaving the Sixers. Like, I felt like that was a boss ass move to like, just be like, I'm out, NBA, thanks. I'm good.
Starting back to that new path, starting on a new journey for yourself.
Yeah. So I think I started to realize that the people I idolized and looked up to weren't who they said they were, or weren't who the world made them out to be. And I think maybe I took everybody off that pedestal, and I said, I'm going to put good people on a pedestal. Anybody who's doing good, I'm going to associate with them. And we're going to build something good together. So I think it was kind of like understanding that what the world says is good, or the world says is the best, is not what's best for Shea. And so I gave myself permission to kind of turn on my own swag and do my own thing and be confident in that. And I think when I started to do that, I started to see things happen. And I was like, oh, all I got to do is be me. I don't have to be who they said I had to be.
Okay.
Like, they used to tell me I had to dress a certain way. I was afraid to wear my hair a certain way because it just wasn't. They used to say, oh, well, they're not going to consider you to be an executive if you don't look this way. and I'm like, I know how to dress. Like I can dress. But at the same time, like if I didn't feel like dressing up to go into work to a basketball arena, why would that make me less than? If I wanted to wear sweats when the players are wearing basketball clothes, who am I
Sneakers.
Sneakers. Who am I dressing up for? I'm dressing up for y'all over there who's sitting in the office, who don't even talk to me, who I don't see all day, who walk past me as if I'm not here. So I'm wearing this executive outfit to do what?
To impress others.
When you already know that you don't want a seat at the table for me. You already know that I'm not a part of the elite group in here. So I don't understand why I'm dressing up to appease you when I relate to the players all day, every day. So when I used to, wear sweats and stuff to work, they would be like, oh, Shea, your kicks, oh, nice sweatsuit. And I'd be like, exactly. Like, that's my tribe right there. So I think I kind of just gave myself permission to say, I don't really care about what these people are on. Like, I'm going to be Shea. I'm going to follow the good people, the people with good hearts, the people pouring into me.
That's right.
And I'm going to stay there in that zone. And from there, I found my own tribe of people. And I said, I never looked back. And that's when I found Overtime. And Overtime allowed me to come as I am. And I think they also helped me.
Shout out to Overtime.
Shout out to Overtime. I think
giving my girl a chance and watching her move mountains because she is amazing. And they trusted
me. They trusted me to do my own thing. They were like, okay, well, you created your own position. We don't have a structure, so do your own thing. And I think also that
freedom and flexibility, though, Shea.
Oh,
because is something that that you need because you're a very creative person.
Yeah.
And creative folks need freedom to be in their own space in order for them to be their very best. So shout out to Overtime for for giving you a lane to be able to do that, because the sky's the limit to what you're doing and what you're going to do to continue to build on the things that you've already created. So
totally. And then we kind of gave birth to OTE. Like I helped bring that to life. They basically were like, hey, we want to do this thing. And I was like, dang, y'all trust me to be the person to like okay, well, let's go. Let's do it. And then, when I walk into the arena every day, I'm like, dang, like we really did this. Like I actually put my intention to work and it created this such a great place for people to be, and other people can benefit from that intention, from putting love into that project. And I'm just like so grateful. And I think that kind of gave me the confidence too, to see like, damn, like if you put your mind to something, even though I slept by my computer the entire pandemic, I had meetings all day, every day.
Yeah.
To the point where, Nafis was bringing me food, sliding under the door type stuff.
You're the best, Nafis.
Because I'm like, hey, I'm on a meeting, get out of here, and it was very stressful, but it was also fun. And I think
it was rewarding, for sure.
Yeah, it was rewarding. But I think, like you said, it was the freedom to be creative and say like, okay, Shea, you're the expert. Go figure this out. And not having somebody to tell me what to do every step of the way, it kind of, freed me up. So I think that's part of it.
So listen, we've talked about the year of you in terms of relationships, putting yourself first, listening to your intuition and following and trusting your gut. Trust that gut. It's there for a reason.
Right.
And, we also talked about, we didn't really dive deep into it, but what I heard you say was that you had to, look, I remember when I met you too, your dream job was at the Sixers. So the fact that you had the courage to walk away without really knowing as much as you know now in your new role, that took a lot of confidence. And that's what we want to encourage our listeners today, is that you have to have that courage to walk away from something when you're not being totally fulfilled. And that's scary because you don't know what's for you on the other side.
Yeah.
But you have to trust that and believe in yourself and know that just like you landed the job that you're in today, you're going to land something else that's even better for you if you're not totally fulfilled. So don't stay in a situation when you know it's not right for you, no matter what it is, no matter what the relationship is, because work is a relationship, right? And you got to be willing to walk away to find your success. Don't ever feel stuck. You have to have the guts. You got guts to walk away when the time is right.
Oh my God, T, that was so good.
You
So
have
good.
to, right?
I agree. Yeah. And I saved a couple $1,000s and got some guts. And I didn't know what was next. You know, I think I told this story before, but I also interviewed for the Timberwolves. I ended up getting the job, but it was for the Iowa Wolves at the time. So assistant GM of the G League team and pro scout. And I thought, wow. And they really treated me like it was the first time I got like a car service and like a nice hotel.
They rolled out that red carpet.
They rolled out the
girl.
red carpet. And then when they hit me with that salary, I said respectfully, no, thank you.
I know that's right.
No, thank you. And they didn't want to negotiate at first. And then when I turned it down, they said, oh, it's flexible. I said, I'm good. You basically showed me what I'm worth to you on that first one. And maybe that's business, but I don't care. I was like, no, I'm good. And
know your worth.
A couple of days later, overtime came, and you know, I said, you know what, this is the road less traveled by, and yeah, and so
yeah. So we heard it there. We heard it several times. Definitely know your worth, and don't hesitate to turn something down when you know you're getting less than what you deserve. Mm-hmm. Because I'll tell you, just working in HR for over 25 years, it is a pattern. And I can tell you that every time I would offer a position for a woman in a senior executive position, because normally my recruiters are handling more of the mid-level and the hourly positions, but I'm offering positions for senior level. And I can count on one hand how many women came back to negotiate. Okay? One hand.
Tell me.
That's unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Any women listening right now, unacceptable.
Yep. But on the other side of that, the men that I would offer positions to, it is like few and far between if they don't come back and negotiate. It's a negotiation of something. So even if it's not salary, it's benefits, it's time off. But most of the times, I'm being honest, it's always a negotiation about salary.
Tell them to.
And we cannot be afraid to ask for more. Let me say that one more time. We cannot, as women, be afraid to ask for more, to ask for what we deserve. And oftentimes we don't. We get so excited about the opportunity because it's great. And it's almost, I think it goes back to that nurturing thing. Like we're excited to just start whatever it is. But how many times do we get these opportunities? And although on the surface, it looks great, you deserve more. So when we think about the year of you, and as we look ahead to 2022, don't ever take another job if it's less than where you need to be. Unless it's an opportunity to do something bigger and better, it's going to lead to something for you. But at the end of the day, know what you deserve and accept nothing less than that.
Yes. And you have to do your research. Your market research. Really Google, go on the internet. There are so many websites that can give you a ballpark range of what you're worth. And sometimes it's not always on the money, but you can also talk to people that are in different industries. You find people on LinkedIn or the internet and kind of ask, what are the ranges? Like there's things you can do to get closer to a goal salary, a target salary. Because at the end of the day, if you're a great person at what you do, they're going to pay for you. They're going to value you, but you have to value yourself first.
That's right. Value yourself.
Right.
So another topic that I wanted to talk about, because, I had this debate with some of my family members.
You always having debates with your family.
I know. They're probably like, bye, girl. I'm like, so this is what I think. They're like, T's texting, do not pick up the phone. It's Tyneeha. But we had this debate based on health because, I come from a family, like my family's from down south, and, we know how to eat good food, from baked macaroni and cheese to everything you could think of. Not healthy, but it sure tastes good.
Just had some yesterday.
I am excited about Thanksgiving. But that can't be your lifestyle every day.
Right. Like, can't be every day.
So when we talk about the year of you, and just like you want to set yourself up for success to have healthy, positive relationships, you want to have a career that, whether it be you as an entrepreneur or you working for someone, but you want to be happy about the choices that you make.
Yeah.
We also have to be happy. And a big part of that is what we put in our mouth. And we got to move more too. So, you know, in an upcoming episode, we're going to bring on some real professionals to talk about, you know, we'll bring on a dietitian, a nutritionist to talk about what that looks like. We'll bring on a certified personal trainer to talk about, you know, what real movement is supposed to look like. But at the end of the day,
thank you.
We have to be healthy people. And no, look, we're gonna have days that we just want what we want. Like I had a brownie on Saturday. I was so excited. I felt like it was the best thing I've had in such a long time. It was a big brownie too. Oh, you guys can't see it, but Shea just flashed a chocolate chip cookie. I'm gonna get her for that. But more days than less, like I would say the vast majority of those days we need to be putting healthy things in our mouths. Like it's all about longevity. We want to live long lives for the people in our circle that we love. And that's not going to happen until we have a healthy lifestyle.
Well, I appreciate you for saying that because I need help in that area. Although I've got 9 out of the 10 things in my life going well for me, the working out and the eating is not there. So, and I think it's more of the preparation for me. It's like I haven't started to prepare that. Like, and then I'm also in this weird place where I'm not traveling right now, but I was traveling a lot.
It's harder when you travel. Yeah.
I'm so used to it, you know, like I've been actually settled for about 2 weeks now, 3 weeks maybe. I think 3 weeks. And it feels weird, but I'm actually about to travel on Friday. So I'm over here like, when am I going to put some groundwork into what works for me in terms of eating, right? And I know I've eaten healthy before, so I know what I like. I like quinoa. I like brown rice. I even like white rice. I like chicken. I like steak every now and then. You know, I have low iron, so I need to eat right for that because I have low iron. And my mom's always on me like, "Are you taking your iron pills? Are you taking your iron pills?" and I actually bought this little Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, little thing to clip them open. So I put it right by the mirror.
I love that.
Yeah. So like I'm trying to encourage myself to do better. But what are some of your tips? Because you're a pretty healthy person. And I think being healthy actually feeds into you, like doing other things, like being happy, you're vibrating higher because food is very vibrational. And I talk about the vibrational scale. So
I mean,
what are some of the things you do?
Look, I definitely have days that I allow myself because I can go crazy on a tangent where I don't want to eat anything unhealthy because I'm thinking like, oh, 1 extra pound is going to set me off. I'm still not where I want to be, you know, but I try to at least be on at least 5 days a week. Like if I want to have a cheat meal on the weekend, it's fine. I don't love a lot of meat, so I don't eat a lot of meat, but I'm more like I eat fish. But what I do is most of my preparation I do on Sunday because I am busy and I don't get home from work to like 8. You know, I'm up in the morning, but I don't get home to like 8 o'clock sometimes. So when I know I'm going to have a long day, I'll bring my dinner with me. But Sunday is like a big preparation day. So it's a bunch of vegetables that I cook. So I'm putting, you know, I roast some cauliflower in the oven. I love broccolini. Like I love broccolini. It's my favorite. So I make all my vegetables and everything that I want on Sunday. The only thing that I may make the day of, just because I'm like a weirdo like that, I don't like to have fish pre-cooked.
Me either. Mm-mm.
I like it to make it the day of. So I'll make it in the morning. Now, sometimes I even put it in my air fryer. I love the air fryer, by the way.
Love air fryer. Get you an air fryer. Okay. I have one.
But it's just a matter, like you said, preparation is everything because when you are not prepared, you're naturally inclined to just grab something on the go and it may not be healthy choices.
Right.
So one of the things that I am huge on is preparing all of my meals on Sunday and putting them in containers for the week. And then normally in the morning, I'll throw a piece of fish in the air fryer or pan sear some salmon. I'll just take it with me. And sometimes I'll have, you know, mushrooms or things that I don't have to prepare anything else to go with it. I'll just have it ready to go in a container in the morning and I'll just grab and go. But, you know, I try to eat, you know, every 3 to 4 hours, I'm having something, whether it be some almonds as a snack, an apple, some almond butter with my apple is great. I try to eat healthy snacks in between meals to keep me fueled.
Yeah.
But look, I'm chasing. Shout out to who was on our Instagram, and I was telling you like, oh my God, I haven't seen her in so long, but her body is insane now. She worked with us at the Sixers. She's a personal trainer now. Who is that?
I don't remember.
Nita.
Oh, yeah, Juanita.
Yo, shout out to Juanita. You got me having some goals for sure now.
Juanita, and she was very intentional about that. She said, Shea, I'm leaving the Sixers. I'm going to coach track. I'm going to get back into my fitness.
Yes.
And she literally moved to LA, started coaching, and started her fitness company. Like Neat Fit. Shout out to Neat Fit.
Yes, Neat Fit. Looking like oh, John. I said, Literally, I saw her on Instagram and I just was like, okay.
Yep.
I texted you that night. I was like,
you did.
Oh my God.
I remember.
Have you seen her? She looks amazing.
And I'm like, yeah, I talk to her all the time.
But she gave me some different goals, some grown-up goals that I have to look like that. So we have to bring her on so she could talk about all the things that she does.
Seriously.
She looks great.
I don't even have any beauty goals. I just want to, because I know this, because I'm a genuinely happy person. If I could just get my eating together,
you can.
The fitness will all fall in.
We used to work out all the time.
And I was in the best shape of my life. I was looking bomb. I was looking snatched.
I was like, you were pushing me. Remember, you're like, come on, Tay, you got
Hell
this.
yeah. My game day outfits was on fire. And I got pics to prove it.
I can't even. You're a mess.
But I mean, I'm not, but I actually like the weight I've put on. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
because it kind of fell in all the right places. I ain't gonna lie.
I just need to.
Shea came in. I was like, where you get that little booty from? I was like, Shea. She's like, T, you're so embarrassing, T.
I know you are, because you just so loud. Look at you. I'm like,
I keep it real.
I know you do keep it real. So I hear you. And I'm going to, maybe I got to call you on Sunday and just be like, T, what you preparing today? Like, give me some, maybe on Saturday so I can go to the store, and then on Sunday I can call you. But I just need a nudge. I need to figure that part out, because it is a holistic thing. It's like relationships, check, right?
Right.
So social and emotional healing, deep work, check.
Check.
Healthy lifestyle, eating well, because, food is also vibrational, like organic, healthy food helps to fuel all that, check. Like, I need to check that box. So like, the year of you is a combination of a bunch of things that you have to get in harmony with. Like, this show, we don't believe in balance, even though our logo is a scale.
A scale.
but it's about tipping the scale back and forth, and finding that harmony in your life. So I think, you hit it on the head when you talked about the lifestyle, healthy lifestyle piece.
Yeah.
For sure.
And, I talked about a low time in my life, and I, back in 2015 where I felt just heavy and depressed. And I just want people to know too, like, don't think that the things you have to go through that you're alone. Like, talk it out. Don't hold things in, because I would say the first maybe 3 months or so, I was just so embarrassed that I didn't really want to talk about it outside of like
shame.
My mom. Yeah.
Shame.
I felt as if I wasn't good enough, that this is why this happened to me. And then now I'm like, please, that loser, I probably shouldn't have been with them in the first place. But that's a whole nother episode. But
that is a whole nother episode.
But what's important is that you don't sit in silence. You heard me mention that before, but I think it's relevant to this point as well, is that, rather, get help. Rather, for me, I love to talk to my mom, but sometimes, don't be afraid if you need professional help. And I know that's something that's taboo, maybe, especially in our Black community, that, because I talk to my friends, they're like, oh, I don't need that. That's crazy. I'm not going to a therapist. But I got to a point where I needed to go to a therapist. I hit a wall, and I needed to find the right tools to climb over the hump. So don't be afraid. to talk to a professional if you need to. They're there for a reason. And don't be afraid to reach out if that's something that you need. The worst thing you can do is sit in silence and think that you can handle it on your own if you find yourself, if you found yourself being stuck.
Right.
Know that there's a way out.
Right. I love that. And my fiance is actually a huge advocate of mental health awareness. And he is a counselor himself. And he is living proof that getting help, therapy, let's just call it therapy, really helps. And he now does a lot of work destigmatizing mental health issues in Black men, mental health illnesses. He'll tell you himself he was diagnosed with several, depression, PTSD, and all that stuff. And I don't think we would be where we are today without him opening his mouth. And it started with talking to his coach, who then found someone to help him that matched with his personality. And that broke down a wall. And that also, he found his purpose by doing so. And I think sometimes we can just, if you don't have that person that you feel comfortable with telling, bearing your soul, sometimes you can put someone else in those shoes and say, can I ask you a question? What do you think about, I have a friend who has this and is going through this. Like, what do you think about this? And just to start the conversation is healing and deep work itself, because just massaging those muscles of just communicating about that topic can really put you on a path of like, wow, I felt safe with that person. And then by having a good, healthy conversation, then sometimes you can insert yourself. I've done that in the past, just stayed curious and, hey, can I ask you a question? And I don't know how to, I don't know, but I saw this person at work and, I noticed that they were doing this. Like, what do you think about that? And then, realizing like, they're like, damn, like I was thinking about the same things. And so sometimes that commonality can kind of knock down a wall too. But there's this woman I love reading all her books and listening to her YouTube videos is Brene Brown. And she talks about shame a lot. And when I talk about doing deep work, that's why I love the internet, because before I used to have to Google everything. Like today, this boy broke my heart and didn't return my phone call. Right? Like stuff like that, and then I would type that into Google and then like 8 things would pop up and I would read these threads of like people going through the same thing. But like now you can go on YouTube and type in, how do I get over being betrayed? And there'll be thousands of hits, and just listening to the information coming out of said expert's mouth. Sometimes I would say they're licensed. Sometimes they're just people who have been through it and sharing their stories. But like, you can build a community in your head of like cool things to pull from, and you can drop pins in a lot of places. And I think that's part of it too, is like filling your days with good vibrations, good vibes, and understanding affirmations and searching out the good in the world, because it's out there. You just have to search for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I think that's really important. And, we have to take mental health seriously. And I think, I lost my brother from suicide, and that is something that I will never get over.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. Sorry, I get emotional when I think about it, because it's something that I will never get over. And I think about him all the time. And, for a while, I thought I blamed myself. I just said, how did I miss it? I wish I would have called him that day to say something to him. And I didn't get the opportunity. So I just want to make sure that we all take it very seriously, because sometimes you just don't know what someone is dealing with and suffering. So I mean, when I say that, don't suffer in silence, because sometimes that weight can feel so heavy and you don't know that you've hit rock bottom, and that I would not want that to be the solution for anyone to go through that, because it's tragic. And my brother, my mom, and I, like, it's something that you know, it's heavy for us, you know, and we have to do better taking care of ourselves mentally and understanding that that's a big part. Just like there's physicians out there to treat us like, you know, if you go outside and something happens to you, let's say you fall down some steps and you break a leg, you're not going to just stay at home and say, okay, I broke my leg, it'll heal. I'm just going to let it heal at home and see what happens. No, you're going to go to the ER, you're going to go see an orthopedic doctor, you're going to get things in place to heal. Same thing with our mental state, that sometimes things get broken and you need to get healed. So I take that very seriously. So just make sure that you seek help when you need it.
Damn, T. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. And, you know, I'm extreme empath. So I immediately feel you on that. And I don't know how it feels because I've never lost anyone to that. But I think you got to talk to people. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I love this podcast.
Yes.
Because
it's
even
healing.
though I'm talking to you, we're in community with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we thank you for listening, you know, because if this is you're talking to someone by listening to us, then that's our intention. You know what I mean? And I think that Black people got to get help.
Yes.
It is not going to make us less
weak.
Strong.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It is not going to make us weak or less strong for holding on to things we don't, because what people don't realize is that we also carry the weight of our ancestors.
Yeah.
Being Black is something you have to literally experience every day. You know, like, so things like that, like we don't realize that stuff affects us and until it all comes full circle and starts to bubble up in the spirit, in the soul. And so, yeah, I just appreciate you sharing that. And
sure,
it's all a part of us. You know, taking care of you is taking care of everyone.
That's right.
Like I said, you can't pour from an empty cup. So
that's right. Oh, so our very last topic that I want to make sure that we cover in terms of the year of you is keep pushing yourself to learn. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go sign up for, you know, that you want to go back to school and get a master's degree if you have your bachelor's degree. It's whatever you are, push yourself to learn more. We should never stop learning. And I was reading something and it said that the most successful people read at least one book, I think, a week. And that's a lot. So you might not have the time to do that, but read. You know, we should never stop learning, ever. And it could be going back to school. You're never too late to go back to school. My mom went back to school super late. Like, shout out to my mom. Whatever she wants to do.
Shout out, Mom.
Shout out to you, Antonia, because Antonia don't play games. Like, she went to school, she got her doctorate, and then she was like, out of nowhere, I mean it, she's like, I'm going to work as a court reporter in the courtroom.
Okay.
She went, took some classes, and now she's working in a courtroom. So my mom just follows her heart, and whatever it is she wants to do, she accomplishes it. But, you know, never stop learning. You know, I think that's important. We sometimes get complacent. And while it's great to sit back and watch Netflix, I just started a new show, Dexter, which is creepy, crazy, but it's good.
Me too. I'm behind. Riverdale. I'm watching Riverdale.
But make time for learning. And, you know, if you are a spiritual person, like I come from, my mom's a minister, my stepdad's a minister. So, you know, they have their own church. So faith is a big part of who I am. So if that's part of you too, like that's part of the work that you have to put in. Any relationship, you have to put in work, right? And relationship is about communication. So for me, I knew that I had to read the Bible more. I had to pray more. Like those are the things that strengthens my relationship. So that's just another thing that we have to take seriously. If faith is important to you, you got to put in the work.
Yeah. Like I I hear you, and I'm very intentional about my vibrational frequency. Like, I talk about it all the time. Like,
yes, you do.
I am wearing my shungite crystal. And sometimes if you're not a reader, I'm not a huge reader, but I listen to podcasts religiously. I watch YouTube and listen to YouTube religiously.
Audiobooks too, right?
I listen to audiobooks all the time. The one of the recent ones I've read, The Alchemist, but I also just listened to The Alchemist again to kind of focus me and recenter me and trying to continue to stay focused on my personal legend. And that's one thing they talk about in The Alchemist is your personal legend. And I think if you can stay in that cerebral place of, like you said, learning and filling yourself up, you'll learn so much about who you are. And you'll rub off on other people. You don't even know who you're inspiring. Like, you'll literally just be like, I'm focusing on this. And people will be like, oh my God, like, she is doing her own thing, or she's giving herself permission to do this, which gives permission for other people to be themselves. And it's like a trickle effect. And in that, as an empath, that's what fills me up. Like, that's what I was missing during the pandemic, was like pouring to people. Like, I literally felt like I had nothing. That connectivity.
Yeah.
But that continual learning is something I do every day. As soon as I wake up, I take a shower. If I don't take one at night, and I listen to podcasts as I put my makeup on, as I do my hair, and when I get in the car. And people send me actually stuff too. So I'm constantly letting people know what I'm doing so they can be like, oh, I thought about you on this. So like, I've always got stuff pouring in from all places for the universe. And I think that's something that is really helps fuel you as a person and where you're going and what you're doing. It's constantly like recycling good energy.
Love that. Okay. So today's episode was deep. We covered so many different topics in terms of how to be your best self. And we talked about health and relationships, connectivity, learning, mental health. That's huge. And career in terms of not settling. And there were so many things that we talked about. But look, if there are some topics that we didn't cover or an episode that you want to learn more about, please be sure to hit us up. And how should they do that, Shea?
I would say, well, we have an Instagram. Follow us on Tipping the Scales Podcast on IG, but also rate, review, follow us. You can leave comments and reviews, but you can also DM us personally, Tyneeha L. Rivers on Instagram. And Overtime.
I need some followers.
I know, right? Overtime Shea or the Shea Dawson Experience. You can message us there, but I mean, we're here, so.
Yes. So make sure you continue to follow Tipping the Scales wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.